Hello, everyone. I would like to introduce myself. I am Anne Padley from the University of Bristol. I am one of the senior lecturers at the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, and I lecture in design thinking, which we will be talking a little bit more about today in this webinar. So you should have a good idea of what that is coming up. Male.
Hello, my name is Male. I teach in the Center for Innovation. I teach past, present, and futures and creative futures. So I'm in future-oriented units, and I also teach in the last project unit in year 4.
All right, excellent. So we are going to just be sharing a little bit of a presentation for you today. Excellent. So we can see it here on the screen, and Molly is going to be sharing a little bit about working through the history of design, looking at the way we teach it in the center today as well. And before we wrap up, I will give you kind of an overview of the programs that we offer at the University of Bristol. Now, I am driving this presentation from my computer, but Molly is presenting, so we are going to have our first example of collaborative teamwork today. And Molly, why don't you just keep your hand up, and every time you want a slide to change, you just give me a little nod with your hand, and I will go ahead and I will change.
Okay, the signal is gonna be okay.
All right, collaboration all the way. We got this. All right. So, is that our first one? Is that the first nod, Molly? Should I go?
Yes.
Okay.
So you can pass. So this is the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. This is our team. The exciting bit of the center is that all the team come from different disciplines, different backgrounds. Some of them are really hard working with industries. Some of us are working with industry from the academic point of view. And we teach in teams, each unit. So each time that you have a session, you will have a very multidisciplinary point of view on it. We have people working with top brand industries. We have people working with startups. We have consultancies and all sorts of sectors. We have people working with digital products and movie posters. We have a broad range. I'm gonna talk a little bit about me, because so you have a sense of who I am. So my good work space is into co-design or design methods or design research and responsible innovation and ethics in the context of health and emergency response. And so where I work, it looks like this. This is my domain. And I work, even though this is a very serious, very time-critical domain, I work with playing, with creative methods, with speculations, and ways in what people can participate. So the project looks rather more like this than what you saw first. But also our classes, our sessions look more like that as well. When I was planning this presentation, I was working in a new project that is in ethics of artificial intelligence and through dancing and performance. So I thought I just put a little bit of what I'm actually doing right now, just for your interest. So talking about the center and what we do here, we have a side that is really into entrepreneurship and the managing and business side of it, and the other side that complement really well that is into design. And I'm coming from the point of view of design innovation, so I'm gonna go through what it would be an introductory class of design innovation. So imagine that you're going into the supermarket and you have a free sample of design innovation. So I'm gonna go for this. Well, design comes from the Latin designare, that is to mark or to signify, and from a deduction bit that is like to open. So to open to mark the space, to open the way. This is how I interpret. And we've been doing this. This is a natural practice for a human. Perhaps this is what makes us human. Constantly making new things, making our future, and in different ways. What is interesting is that each of our design innovations built on top of each other. So they're becoming more and more complicated, and they are informing how we live and our practices. But our practices that inform again the design's innovation that we find and what we understand as what is useful, what is value, how we live, who understand classes, understand cities and physical spaces, and how we move around, how we understand the world, and how we imagine our futures in this world. How we navigate as well. So from something very small, we are seeing how our world is building up on top of design's innovations, and also the problems of this work. And some of the problems are so big that is what we call wicked problems. And wicked is because they are so complicated that no one single discipline could tackle them. For example, the problem of the hunger in the world is not just simply a nutritionist or an agriculture or a politician or health. It has to be the collaboration of what we call the transdisciplinary collaboration of many disciplines, of many ways of seeing the world, of many ways of learning and being in the world. But it also it has to do with the visions that we have with the future and with the world. We also can design visions. For example, Los Angeles, the model of the city of the Los Angeles was exported and rebuilt in the 5 continents, in main cities around the world, all looking like Los Angeles. Because at some point we thought that that would be a great city to live. Today we're understanding that have many problems and we would like to live different. So these sort of visions that we impose in the world are where we are, is the space where we are. So innovation and design innovation can tackle these wicked problems by collaborating with different disciplines. And we start from little changes to very big changes. And the cool thing about the center and about design innovation is that we have to work very closely with both science and arts. We nurture creative practice, but also we have to be based and grounded on scientific and technological basis. But also something like political and law. This innovation has to fit very well in parts in the world. So how do we do it in the center? Well, we have these collaborations of business people, design managers and designers, and yeah, we jump into the future, we jump into testing solutions, but it's not jump into nothing. We actually have a way. And this way has changed. It changes in between domains and domains because innovation is so broad that you may be thinking about designing a different shoe or designing a financial product. So the ways that we build into innovating these different areas changes, but in the center we kind of reflect how everybody do it and test different ways. We work within these principles. I really like them, and it's because we are always focusing people, and we are looking for different resources, and the resourcefulness is also our attitude. And we want to do projects and get them done. We want to test real things, and sometimes we test and we fail, and that's all right because it's a safe space. And so we want to actually come up with tangible things that probably can do a change in the world. And we are very inspired by design thinking. And I just talked before is a very hot person in design thinking. And they have a cycle of empathizing, defining, ideation, prototyping, and testing. But then we start again and test different things again. And we're also very inspired in our methods in the double diamond of the design console. So we have our own take of how we do this, but basically we do this thinking big and bringing many ideas from many spaces and many disciplines. And when we do ideation, it's not just words and ideas that come from our head, but it's also tangible. We also ideate making things. And then after many in spaces of opening and look for many different ideas, we start to defining and closing back again. And these definitions could be, again, in words or in things. But we are choosing of all these options, of all this opportunity, what is the minimum action that can bring change? And then we prototype. And when we prototype, we're testing usabilities, we're testing materials, we're testing shapes. And then we test with people that will use these services, products, or artifacts, how they feel. Are they actually what we have in mind? Is the people actually will adopt them, these new products, services, or artifacts? And then we deliver. But we deliver in a way that is a good space to deliver. So I don't know if you noticed, but here I am with some students, and they are presenting the project, and I'm dressed up as if I was coming from the future. So we create in our studios this space where it's good to collaborate, it's good to test different things, and then we present. And the projects can be as little as one day, or a couple of weeks, or a whole year, academic year. So you have an idea of what we're doing. These are 3 examples of last year's students here. And I had the opportunity to supervise 2 of them. So one of them is Satis. It's a team of lady students working in a women's urinal for festivals or for sport events, with the idea that make a similar space for where the men, but for women to do it very quickly and very safely. Another project was students traveling to India and creating and studying with women that pick plastic rubbish in India, ways of recycling plastic. So you can see already that the projects go from very different domains, from using different technologies, working with different people. Another project is a digital product that uses artificial intelligence to support animation companies in film or in video games. So they create a software that automatically recreate objects. So the artist will animate a little bit, but then the whole world, all other artifacts in that world will be created by that software. And again, they were working with real people, experts, and companies that are here in Bristol. So this is we practice. What we do every day in the center is thinking outside the box, but also thinking, what is this box? Thinking about a box itself. And there is the difficulty. If we don't see the box, how is that we can think out of the box? And we do this by creative and critical thinking. So we're really trying to look from different perspectives, one challenge, and with active learning. So you will have chance to really experience by yourself the concept that we discuss. And with engaged learning, that means we engage with partners. We bring organizations or industry partners or city partners or communities to work with us. And for example, this year we are working with the Bristol Collection of Theatre. So they collect historical artifacts that have been used in theatre, and with community worker, that is the city fellow. So we're creating something in a community park with these So we have this idea of more than human-centered. We are human-centered, but also what it means to be human in a context where we have more technologies and in a context where we are in an environmental crisis. So how relationship, practice, and values are messed up for innovation. The common thing is that innovation is a future-oriented practice. And the interesting thing that engaging with the future is that you really don't know what is there. You can plan, you can foresight, you can predict, you can suspect, but you can never be certain. So that allows us to test different ways of knowing and experiment with different ways of learning about things. Some of them very fantastic, very creative, some of them really grounded in the reality of today. And I just wanted to close with a little bit of what I do, that is responsibility of innovation. And yes, it's about developing and nurturing researchers to deal with issues of sustainability, inclusion, diversity, privacy, but more than that and beyond that, it's about creating spaces in your innovation processes to address uncertainty, because many of the consequences that we are experiencing today of innovation from yesterday, there were no evil people that were trying to mess up with the world. It was unwanted consequences of the innovation. So we want to address those spaces. So we create a world where we can live and run and be and breathe. And just because I didn't want to leave you with that image, and tell you a little bit of the units I'm teaching now. One is called Past, Present, and Futures, and it's to do with different ways of looking at society and technology together. And the other unit that I teach is Creative Futures, Tools to Change the World. And this is one of my favorite graffitis in Bristol. That is a big city in graffitis, and this is the one that I see when I arrive in the train from other cities in the train stations. That's Anne. That was me. Happy to answer any question in the chat while Anne talks.
Yeah, thanks, Mala. Absolutely. So thank you for that overview of design and what design is and kind of how it lives and works and moves really within the world. I think Mala and I share this belief that we really believe that design is core to who we are as human beings, but also core to the impact that we can have out in the world. And that's why we are so excited about the innovation programs that we run at the University of Bristol. And I want to share just a little bit about what those programs are, so you have that context. If this was interesting to you, something kind of rung a bell for you, that you thought, okay, I could learn a little bit more about it, then these programs might be interesting for you, and we'll be really happy to talk with you more about it. So what we like to say at the center is that we are less about preparing students for doing a specific job, and we are more about helping students learn to solve problems or learn to innovate. We know that many of the jobs that we have today actually didn't exist 10 years ago or 15 years ago. We might not have ever even been able to think about them. For example, an app developer or an Uber driver. Earlier on, if you're high school age students out there, your parents maybe never even knew that those could have been options as they were growing up and as they were your age. I certainly didn't know they were options as I was growing up and as I was your age. So we really help students prepare for a rapidly changing world in ways that will help them solve problems. How we do that is we bring together a suite of programs where students from across 14 different subject disciplines all work together in order to study innovation and entrepreneurship. So that means we have students who work on teams that are mixed. So we might have a student from anthropology and computer science and psychology working on some sort of project about how to improve cybersecurity. And the students are able to bring their really deep subject knowledge that they have in their subject specialism. We kind of call this T-shaped graduate. So a really deep subject understanding with a breadth of understanding around innovation and around design. So in the program on the side of the innovation, you're thinking about creativity, you're thinking about working in agile ways. You're doing a lot of the things Male mentioned, rapid prototyping, going out and doing research, working and understanding others. But then you're also looking at entrepreneurship and new venture creation, how you actually take this idea you have and how you shape it into something that isn't just an idea anymore, that it's actually a product that can live and work out in the world. And like we say, hopefully is out there making a very positive impact as well. So how this works across the program is you have your core subject specialism, and you can see that outlined on the yellow side of the screen. And then you have your courses in innovation. So in your first year, you're studying a lot more heavily on your core subject discipline. So anthropology, computer science, psychology, whatever that discipline is, because you're really growing that really strong foundation. And then you have 40 credits where you're over in the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. And as you go through the years, that balance shifts a little bit. So by the time you're in third year, you're doing 50-50. You're half in your core subject discipline and you're half in innovation. And by the time students get to their fourth year, which are some of the projects that Male had showed that our students have done, in your fourth year, you're more heavily weighted in the innovation space because you're doing a final project that is actually bringing some sort of idea to life. So for example, last year in our graduating cohort, we had 3 different students who were graduating with startups already because they had worked on it as their 4th year project. We had other students who are moving into roles within consultancies, within the healthcare service, and also within their core subject disciplines. So students who were just really interested in computer science and have been able to take the skills they learned in innovation and apply those to a career in their subject specialism. Basically, what we were founded on is that we believe that we are all going to need to work together to bring arts, science, engineering, humanity, and enterprise together in order to solve some of the world's toughest challenges. And we used to always say this. A year ago, we would say the same thing. And I think for me, now living through what we are with the global pandemic, I think this statement hits home like never before, because it really is about bringing us all together in order to solve the biggest challenges of our days. I will just add up here, if you would like to find any more information about the center, you can feel free to go ahead and visit our website, bristol.ac.uk/innovation. But Male and I are here and in the flesh right now, so we are more than happy to answer any of the questions you might have. So please feel free to drop some in the chat. And I see a couple that are coming in already, so thank you all. Let's see, the first one, I see a couple in Spanish. So Male, I'm gonna let you have a read on those. It's over in the comments window. Make sure you're on the comments versus the private chat.
That just says hello and leave your questions here.
Perfect. Well, leave your questions here for us. We will be happy to answer them.
The different one, Mario, is saying, in our opinion, what kind of entrepreneurships are very popular for the environment today?
All right. What kind of entrepreneurship are very popular for the environment today? I think, and Mario, you can feel free to drop in the chat in case I don't get this answer quite right. But I think that today, entrepreneurship is what people make it. So I think what we know about, for example, I've seen some research that in large financial crisis, that there's often an influx of people starting food trucks or food vans. And the reason is they feel like they want to just kind of take their fate into their own hands and move out into a space that they can control. That's what I've heard as the reasoning. So I think as an entrepreneur, it's really about what problems you're seeing out in the world and what you're feeling like needs to be tackled, and how you are looking at what you can do about them. So I don't think there's just necessarily one type of entrepreneur. I think that you can go out and you can tackle a lot of different problems with a lot of different types of solutions, as we can see from the wide variety of businesses that we see out there.
I would like to add something. In times of crisis, opportunities for ventures multiply. And we are seeing now there is a moment where we've been reflecting in the ways we work. For example, we are now here with you, and in the way we move, and in the way that health is important for us, and no beyond hospitals and cures, but in protecting us. So I think things are moving and reconfiguring in a way that there is a lot of opportunities. Someone is asking if we have industry design and how that works. Someone is asking if we have architecture.
All right. So with the programs at the University of Bristol, with the innovation programs, industrial design and architecture are not part of those programs. But at the University of Bristol itself, of course, they offer many, many more programs than we are just talking about today. So if you have questions about specific programs, I would head over to the university website, so that you can get a little bit more information about what is offered in the specific area that you're looking in. And I will go ahead and just drop a link to that into the chat if I can.
Yes, I will answer Alexandra Chavez Mendez, who is asking for computer science. And then Makael asked for opportunities and trends in the pandemic. I think at the center we are beyond trends. We are looking for opportunities and for things that, rather than following a trend, we want to look for knowledge gaps or needs. So, but yeah, I think we are in a specific moment where we are reconsidering ways of moving, living, eating. There is big trend or big need for circular economy or shared services and sustainable ways of production.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's such an interesting question, because there are so many shifting business models now with the pandemic. So there are some really interesting resources out there about businesses that just shifted in order to solve needs. So there is a coffee filter company. So you know the cone coffee filters, they're kind of like at an angle. They actually converted a lot of their machines so that they could be making face masks. Because if you think about actually a coffee filter, it would actually kind of fit as a face mask to work. So this company made a really rapid transition at the beginning of COVID in order to kind of shift a lot of their processes in order to meet a really human need. Now, some of that might have been driven by, finances, but a lot of it, I think, is also just driven by meeting that need and being able to make a positive impact in society. Right. Excellent.
Yes, I'm Venezuelan. So if you feel shy to write something in English, feel free to write it in Spanish, and I try to answer.
Absolutely. We have another question as well about computer science and how that career is developed in the university. So again, feel free to hop over to the Bristol website It was just added in the chat there, and you can take a look at a little bit more detail about computer science. If you are interested in computer science with innovation as a degree, we absolutely have that as part of the innovation programs in the center. And you are most welcome to drop us a message as well. We can always connect you with a computer science with innovation student so that you can learn a little bit more about the journey that they've been on over their time at Bristol, and maybe even what they're thinking about ahead as their career outcomes. Really good questions today, everyone. All right, are there any more questions anyone has for us?
I don't know if we say it in the presentation, but another great thing of the Center for Innovation and the University of Bristol is that we are in Bristol. And Bristol is a fantastic city in the UK. It's a medium-sized city that you can go around without needing a car, or you can transport in bicycles or in scooters. There is a lot of cultural life. There is a lot of startups and tech. There is a lot of things going on, and all sort of things. And the center acts a little bit of a hub, and we try to make connections with things that are happening in the city. So you will be inserted in the life of Bristol. That is really, really interesting.
Excellent. Well, if there are any more questions coming in, otherwise we are happy to turn over to the organizers as well. I know there's more exciting things to come in this webinar today. All right. As they are shifting over, yes, I think they're going to bring out a video of Bristol. Fabulous.
Oh, perfect.
Well, it's been great chatting with you all today. I wish that we could see you, a nice Zoom call with all your faces, but we hope that you enjoyed this presentation. And if you have any questions or comments at all, please do feel free to reach out to us.
Hi, my name is David Thomas. I'm from the University of Bristol. We're based in the beautiful city of Bristol in the United Kingdom. Bristol is a fun city. There's loads of things going on for young people. We are a festival city. Every summer we have a hot air balloon festival. It's very colourful, and lots of other things that are going on that will be great fun for the students to take part in. The University of Bristol is one of the top universities in the world. It's currently ranked 51 in the world in the QS World Ranking. So as well as being very strong academically, the university's graduates are also very valued by employers. Bristol is part of the NC UK Consortium of Universities. So we have an agreement with NC UK, who have their own program here at the UPC campus to prepare Peruvian students to study their undergraduate degree in the University of Bristol. So our partnership here with UPC is a very important stepping stone, giving you students the opportunity to come to Bristol, to come to a world-class education in a world-class city. We look forward to seeing you.
Ok, hola, buenos días a todos. Muchas gracias, May, muchas gracias, Anne, por su presentación. Estuvo muy interesante. En estos momentos, bueno, voy a comentarles un poquito sobre cómo acceder a esta universidad de Bristol, que tiene programas y, bueno, carreras muy innovadoras, muy interesantes, con un gran portafolio que pueden encontrar. Y bueno, si son nuevos conociendo este programa, les voy a mostrar cómo funciona. Quizás, chicos, me pueden ayudar. Perfecto. Ok. Nosotros formamos un convenio muy fuerte como UPC con NC UK. NC UK es un consorcio de universidades que comenzó reuniendo a universidades del Reino Unido y ahora, bueno, tiene un gran portafolio en otros países, que se creó para poder brindar oportunidades a estudiantes de todo el mundo a que puedan acceder a estas universidades comenzando su etapa universitaria en sus países locales. Entonces, este pathway te permite, si tú conoces, si tú manejas un nivel de inglés avanzado, poder acceder a estas universidades recibiendo una educación de clase mundial en Lima. En este caso, ¿no? Ofrecemos en UPC, en el campus Monterrico, estas clases que te van a preparar y que incluso ya te van a permitir iniciar tu etapa universitaria bajo esta enseñanza global. Siguiente, por favor. Imagínense que ustedes están estudiando en un UPC y ya están dando este paso para poder ingresar a estas universidades. Como ven, con UPC en UK tenemos la oportunidad de que puedan acceder a el Reino Unido, a Nueva Zelanda, Australia, Canadá, a Estados Unidos, incluso a más países. Una de ellas es Bristol, la que acaba de presentar, y también tenemos oportunidades en universidades top del Reino Unido y top del mundo incluso, ¿no? Tenemos también a Manchester, a Sheffield, a Leeds, a una serie de oportunidades también en Estados Unidos, en Australia, Nueva Zelanda, Canadá, y ustedes de verdad, comenzando sus clases aquí, van a poder convertirse en estudiantes de estos destinos, ¿no? Para poder obtener el bachiller, incluso la maestría de estas universidades cuando realicen sus traslados acá. Siguiente, por favor. Ok, ¿cómo funciona este programa? Existe una serie de pasos que deben cumplir de acuerdo a cómo se encuentren hoy. Ustedes pueden estar en quinto en secundaria o en su colegio pueden ofrecer un bachillerato internacional y ustedes tienen diferentes rutas, pero a grandes rasgos es comenzar las clases bajo este concepto de UPC UK. Y los beneficios que te trae es que una vez que tú apruebas estos años, que pueden ser entre 1 o 2, ya tengas un acceso garantizado a este abanico de universidades que les acabo de mostrar. Hay ciertos criterios a tomar en cuenta, por ejemplo, el desempeño académico, porque en base a tu desempeño puedes aplicar a universidades top o puedes aplicar también a universidades con grandes ofertas en carreras. Bueno, recibes esta educación de clase mundial aquí en Perú, lo cual es importante porque de por sí, cuando ustedes terminan el colegio y comienzan una etapa universitaria, comenzar esta vida universitaria en base a tu independencia, a decisiones propias, ya de por sí hay un pequeño choque. Entonces, lo que tratamos de hacer es que este choque que tengas no necesariamente tenga que verse acompañado de un choque cultural, ¿no? Entonces, tú vas teniendo un paso gradual. Terminas el colegio y comienzas tu etapa universitaria aquí en Perú y luego vas al Reino Unido o a los otros países a ya tener esta inmersión cultural, ¿no? Entonces, aquí tú ya tienes más tiempo para poder conocer amigos, para poder perfeccionar tu idioma, quizás, para poder elegir la carrera también. Ya ahondaré en eso más tarde. Y para que tus padres también puedan, durante estos años, bueno, estar acompañados contigo y recibir también otro tipo de consejería, ¿no? Para estar mucho más tranquilos en las decisiones que se tomen. Y también puedes ahorrar, bueno, el dinero que sería los costos del viaje, ¿no? Los costos de vivir allá. Siguiente, por favor. Este es un beneficio muy importante porque contamos más de 4,000, tú puedes acceder a más de 4,000 carreras si tú piensas en todas las ofertas que ofrecen todas las universidades del consorcio. Y entre estas hay carreras que, por ejemplo, nos enseñan acá. Puedes estudiar ingeniería aeroespacial, fashion marketing, organización de eventos internacionales, entre miles de carreras muy interesantes. Tienes un desglose con carreras que incluso te incluyen las prácticas. Y de verdad, nosotros brindamos infosessions y también brindamos asesorías para que tú puedas conocer cuál es tu mejor alternativa en base a lo que tú estés pensando estudiar, ¿no? Siguiente, por favor. Ahora, ¿cómo funciona este programa? Nosotros en UPC ofrecemos 2 años. El primer año, o Pathway también, se denomina International Foundation Year. Este año es para los chicos que terminan quinto de secundaria y quieren estudiar bajo estas áreas, porque nosotros lo que ofrecemos no son las carreras exactas, sino ya son áreas un poquito más amplias para que tú puedas tener un poquito de libertad al momento de decidir una carrera específica, ¿no? Ofrecemos Humanities, Science, Business, Engineering, y con eso tú ya tienes este tiempo, ¿no? Para investigar cuál es el abanico de oportunidades que tienes bajo estas áreas. El segundo año que ofrecemos en Perú es el International Year One. Y bueno, este es un gran beneficio para chicos que llevan el IB, porque tú llevando el IB en tu colegio y terminándolo, estás como cubriendo el Foundation Year. Entonces tú pasarías al International Year One. Y en este año, tú ya estás comenzando tu vida universitaria que engloba tu carrera universitaria internacional, ¿no? Se llama International Year One porque es el primer año que ya estás cumpliendo dentro de tu educación británica. Entonces, para este año, la oferta también como que se cierra un poco. Tenemos Business Management, Electrical and Electronic Engineering y Mechanical and Manufacturing Engineering. Entonces, con estas ofertas, tú ya tienes que tener decidido de que quieres estudiar dentro de estas áreas. Sin embargo, estas áreas de por sí, si son más específicas, no significa que sean las carreras exactas, porque tú puedes estudiar Business Management y algún otro complemento en la carrera al momento que tú realices tu viaje en el extranjero. Siguiente, por favor. Bueno, esta es la ruta que yo les comentaba. Tú terminas el colegio y quinta de secundaria y tienes la opción de llevar hasta 2 años en UPC, el Foundation Year y el Year One, y luego completas tu carrera en el extranjero, ¿no? Al final los títulos que obtienes son netamente del extranjero. Y en el caso de los chicos que llevan IB, estarías cubriendo lo de Foundation Year y pasarías al Year One, bajo lo que había comentado de que son considerados los subjects específicos, y luego completarías tu carrera en el Reino Unido. Siguiente, por favor. Bueno, una información adicional o los requisitos a tomar en cuenta es que tienes ya que manejar un buen nivel de inglés desde aquí, porque las clases se dictan en inglés avanzado. Existe un reforzamiento que es un inglés especializado para profesionales dentro de este programa. Sin embargo, ya tienes que ir manejando y hablando y sobre todo entendiendo bien, porque la exigencia dentro de este programa es alta, porque está preparado para que tú pueda ser admitido a universidades top. Entonces la exigencia en sí es alta. Este programa presencialmente se realizaba en Monterrico y bueno, esto también se volvería a retomar pasando lo de la coyuntura. Por el momento estamos ofreciendo también el programa de la modalidad online para quienes, por ejemplo, no puedan venir a Lima y puedan estudiar de manera online. Y la duración de cada pathway o año es de aproximadamente 10 meses. Esto quiere decir de que a diferencia de pregrado regular, tú no estudias los 2 ciclos por año, ¿no? Tú estudias un solo pathway, que equivalen a 10 meses. Y bueno, esto comienza en marzo y puede terminar en diciembre, ¿no? También tenemos la posibilidad de que puedas consultar sobre una oportunidad que estamos brindando para que tú realices en menos meses este programa, ¿no? Y bueno, las clases son personalizadas, tienes un máximo de 20 estudiantes por clase. Eso es porque nosotros queremos de que tú recibas esta atención personalizada para que puedas absorber todas tus consultas. Este programa también busca poder resolverte todos esos problemas emocionales o consultas emocionales que tengas con respecto a esta transición, porque sí sabemos de que es muy importante de que estés preparado también a nivel personal, ¿no? Que, por ejemplo, recibas todos los consejos que puedas, de que tus padres se encuentren tranquilos y de que también puedas confraternizar con tus compañeros, ¿no? Porque muchos de ellos, sobre todo en la primera promoción, han formado grupos para poder viajar en conjunto. Y eso también Es un buen beneficio para que puedas estar tranquilo al momento de realizar tu viaje. Siguiente, por favor. Y bueno, como les comentaba, esta es la clase del 2018, el programa ya lleva con 4 años dictándose aquí en el Perú. UPC es la primera en ofrecer esta modalidad muy interesante. Y bueno, estos chicos ya viajaron al Reino Unido, pasaron también por el tema de la pandemia y todo eso, pero constantemente estamos en comunicación con ellos. Y también presentan webinars en los cuales ustedes les pueden preguntar sobre cómo es la educación allá, cómo se sintieron. Pueden incluso visitar blogs. Manejamos desde la cuenta de UPC Internacional en nuestras redes. Pueden encontrar sus historias y hacerles cualquier tipo de preguntas, porque estamos aquí para apoyarnos entre nosotros. Y bueno, la clase del 2019 también ya tuvo su graduación hace unos meses y también se están preparando para ver la posibilidad de cómo insertarse, ya sea de manera presencial o online, en el programa. Nosotros ofrecemos infosessions todas las semanas. Tenemos los lunes las infosessions de Student Support, que son para que ustedes puedan recibir más información sobre esta educación extranjera, y les recomiendo que se conecten con sus papás también para que puedan absorber esas preguntas que, bueno, se estén preguntando sobre la vida allá. También tenemos los miércoles las Academic Info Sessions, que tienen el mismo fin y que también les sirven para que puedan ustedes consultar sobre las mejores alternativas en universidades según el perfil que ustedes estén preparando. Y tenemos las Admission Info Sessions, que se dictan los viernes, con Rodrigo Matos, que es nuestro promotor. Él se encarga de poderles mostrar más sobre los procesos de admisión, el tema de costos, de fees e incluso proyecciones de costos, ¿no? Si por favor me pueden ayudar proyectando la ruta, que es upc.p/infosessions, para que puedan inscribirse. A ver, me parece que aquí hay algunas preguntas. Almudena me pregunta, ¿qué es el IB? Bueno, el IB es International Baccalaureate, es un grado más que ofrecen algunos colegios para que tengas, digamos, una base internacional y puedas ser admitido en universidades extranjeras. Y bueno, en algunos casos el IB es un grado más, ¿no? Es un texto de secundaria. Entonces, esto es por eso que equivale a un Foundation Year. Aquí lo responde Giselle, ¿no? Es el bachillerato internacional, algunos colegios lo dan. Perfecto. Cristina Galindo consulta, ¿con el primer año en el Perú se puede aplicar a una universidad en UK? Sí, con el primer año sí. De hecho, si tú estudias Humanities o Science, tendrías solamente que hacer el Foundation Year y luego trasladarte. Si te enfocas en ingeniería o en business, ya tienes la posibilidad de realizar los 2 años, ¿no? El Foundation Year y el Year 1. Esa es la idea, de que ustedes tengan ese acceso garantizado también, ¿no? De que se puedan preparar mejor, de que conozcan más sobre esas modalidades, y también por eso es que estamos ofreciendo las universidades están ofreciendo estas masterclasses como la que acabamos de tener, para que se familiaricen con las futuras clases que podrían recibir allá. Estudiar el segundo año en el Perú, ¿te reduce el tiempo de estudios en UK? Bueno, en realidad el segundo año de Perú, que vendría a ser International Year 1, vendría a ser el primer año de UK. Entonces, te quedaría realizar 3 años en UK. Lo mismo pasa con Nueva Zelanda y Australia, ¿no? Porque en UK tus años de estudio son, la universidad dura 4 años, entonces tú ya estás avanzando el primer año acá, y lo que haces es el Foundation Year, es como la base que las universidades suelen requerir para estudiantes extranjeros, ¿no? Entonces, sí. Si tienen alguna consulta, también la pueden dejar aquí en el chat o pueden unirse a estas infosessions. Hoy, siendo jueves 26 de noviembre, Los invito a inscribirse a este link para poder participar en la infosession que va a brindar Rodrigo Matos el día de mañana, o a cualquiera de nuestras infosessions que ofrecemos en todas las semanas. ¿Está bien? ¿Hay alguna otra duda? ¿Cómo se aplica? Bueno, en realidad el proceso de admisión tiene diferentes pasos. Tienes que tomar en cuenta de que el inglés es muy importante y se debe de certificar. Entonces, en ese caso sí tienes que participar en la infosession de mañana para poder conocer todos los documentos, porque Rodrigo los va desglosando, los va describiendo y entre ellas se encuentran cartas de recomendación, algunos otros certificados y él te va explicando cómo puedes obtenerlos, ¿no? A quién escribir y todo a detalle. La siguiente consulta es los costos por derechos académicos. Bueno, los costos tienes diferentes tipos de costos, ¿no? Que se suman. En el año pagas un monto dividido en 10 cuotas en dólares, de aproximadamente $1,400 cada cuota. Sumado a ello, existen unos costos de fee que te traen algunos beneficios consigo. Y bueno, todos esos detalles de costos, Rodrigo Matos también los estará mostrando en la sesión de mañana, porque dependerá también de cómo lo quieras ver, si quieres ver los costos por año o los costos de estudios en UPC. También existen algunos scholarships, pero que son netamente ofrecidos por NC UK y que pasan a evaluación y bueno, eso también de acuerdo a cada caso en particular, se puede recibir mejor asesoramiento. Bueno, ¿me parece que hay alguna otra consulta más? Perfecto. Entonces, el link de la sesión de mañana es justo la que está apareciendo aquí, upc.p/infosessions. Si me pueden apoyar, por favor, los chicos, colocándolo en el chat. Tenemos ya disponibles las inscripciones para mañana y para el lunes y para el martes de la próxima semana. Igual, quizás muchos chicos o vengan de colegios o de bachiller o quizás aquí se encuentren también chicos de UPC. En el caso de alumnos de UPC pregrado o de cualquier modalidad que quieran de repente evaluar un traslado a este programa, el contacto es, en este caso no es con Rodrigo, es con Patricia Wong, quien es la coordinadora académica y se va a encargar de ver el tema de convalidaciones y de procesos, porque es otro proceso el que se realiza. Voy a dejarles aquí su correo, patricia.wong@upc.pe. Que me puedan ayudar a compartirlo. Y bueno, ella también realiza sesiones informativas los miércoles. Entonces, si son de UPC, pueden preguntarle directamente, ¿no? O si están estudiando incluso en alguna otra entidad, también le pueden consultar a ella. Muy bien, espero haber absuelto sus consultas y bueno, si tienen alguna otra pregunta, pueden escribir aquí o estamos en contacto también por medio de las infosessions que se realizan por Zoom. Ya, perfecto. Entonces, muchas gracias por venir, chicos, y nada, estamos en contacto. También pueden escribir a los WhatsApps con los cuales nosotros les enviamos la invitación. Bueno, hay una pregunta más. Si en tu colegio no hay IB, no hay problema. Tú sigues Almudena, tú sigues la ruta tradicional, que es la de poder llevar el Foundation Year y el Year One. De hecho, el tema con el IB es que pueden convalidar el Foundation Year, pero si estás en quinto secundaria, la ruta es la regular. también está la posibilidad de llevar el programa. Y bueno, mañana la reunión con Rodrigo es a las 5 de la tarde. Las InfoSessions de los lunes son al mediodía, la de los miércoles a las 4 y la de Rodrigo a las 5. Y eso se va a mantener constantemente. Ahora también les estaremos compartiendo este link por WhatsApp, por interno también, así como nos hemos comunicado hoy. Y bueno, también los invito a participar en las próximas masterclasses que les estaremos haciendo llegar. Mañana, por ejemplo, tenemos una de Manchester y la próxima semana también tendremos de los otros países que se ofrecen. Y bueno, los estaremos invitando. Muchísimas gracias.